Think of this. Olympics is a recipe to bring an economic disaster to a country. The 2004 Athens Olympics broke the banks of Greece and they had to face a serious financial crisis. Brazil, while preparing to host the 2016 Rio Olympics, had to face its worst recession since 1931. I can go on and on about this, but let's come to the point. There are numerous studies that proves hosting the Olympics is not an economically wise idea for a country. After the IOC awarded Los Angeles the hosting rights for 2028 Summer Olympics without making a call for other bidders, YouTube pundits were quick to conclude that the greatest sporting event of the world, the Olympics, is really losing its charm. But if that's the case, why is there such a hype around India hosting the event? Why does PM Modi constantly express his ambition for the same? And why does Nita say that we could pull off the greenest Olympics ever? Most of all, why should you care? Let's break things down. The 2008 Beijing Olympics generated only $3.6 billion in revenue compared to $40 billion in cost. And similarly, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics had got a revenue of $5.6 billion with a costing of $13 billion. That is why you would definitely ask me, Mayank, if there are no profits, why do countries host the Olympics at all? Because hosting the Olympics changes the image and opens new doors for the host city. Need an example? Let me tell you. This is how Olympics changed the fate of Barcelona forever. Back in the 1980s, when Barcelona was chosen to host the 1992 Olympics, only few could have imagined how it would literally become the game changer for the city. Need a highlight? Ask the millennials about it. The opening ceremony was a visual treat. Spanish archer Antonio Rebollo shot a flaming arrow across the heads of the audience in the stadium to ignite the Olympic flame. Yes, imagine being there to witness this magic. And the impact, it was huge. Barcelona was transformed from an industrial city to a global tourist hotspot with new beaches and improved infrastructure. Tourism skyrocketed from just a few business travelers in the 1990s to approximately 10 million annual visitors by 2019. That is some serious achievement by them. All thanks to the two unforgettable weeks in 1992. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Can India do the same magic by hosting the 2 weeks of Olympics? Here's a fun fact. India is the only country out of the 10 largest economies that is yet to host the Olympics. That sounds kinda odd, right? We are the 5th largest and will become the 3rd largest economy by 2030. So why not us? Hosting the Olympics isn't just about sports. It's about global prestige. It's about showing the world that India is now ready to take the center stage. And unlike the previous hosts who have failed, India is now in a really unique position to prove that Olympics will be a grand success. The most important thing needed to host the Olympics is top-notch sports infrastructure. And we are doing good here. Grassroots sports has transformed by funding sports facilities, stadiums, and improving coaching facilities across the country, thanks to the Khelo India scheme. And now let's talk about our athletes. Do you remember the historic win by Neeraj Chopra that made him the main character in Tokyo Olympics? Or when PV Sindhu and Mirabai Chanu stood on those Olympic podiums? These aren't just some random successes. These are years of blood and sweat and the target Olympic podium scheme. You might think that's it. But no. Our best ever medal haul at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, crossing the 100 medal mark at the 2023 Asian Games, and the incredible performance at the 2024 Paralympics with 29 medals. But what does this success mean to us? This means that India is not just a cricket crazy nation anymore. It's showing interest in other sports as well. Now let's talk about the money side of things, because that's why most countries hit a giant snag. India could actually make this work, and to be honest, in a pretty smart way. You remember, right? How some past Olympic hosts ended up with a massive debt and some abandoned stadiums. India, whereas, could write a different story down here. Instead of the government bearing all the costs, imagine getting powerful partnerships by Adani, Tata, or Reliance through public-private partnerships. These companies wouldn't be just bringing money to the table. These companies have an expert in managing world-class infrastructure and also building it. And here's also another clever idea. Who says that we need to host everything in one city? Think about spreading the Olympics all over India. Rather than building expensive new venues from scratch, say it Ahmedabad or Mumbai, we could use existing stadiums in different cities. And one more important point, making sure these venues don't turn into expensive ghost towns after the games, like what happened in Greece and Brazil. We have got to be smarter about this. Every stadium, every sports complex we build or upgrade should have a clear purpose on what should be done after the Olympics. Maybe it becomes a training center for future athletes or a community sports hub. And Above all, it's about building something that lasts, not just to put up a show for 2 weeks. Now, you should look at the games through another lens. The Olympics is probably the best way to showcase your soft power while shaping your global image. And that's what China did back in 2008. And India needs to take notes of that. The Beijing Olympics was a grand statement to the world. China poured in $40 billion just to put out a statement. We have arrived. From the jaw-dropping opening ceremony to futuristic infrastructure such as the incredible air terminal designed by Norman Foster. It was a calculated move to reshape global perceptions, a confident masterstroke in declaring their country as a global superpower. Now, as India plans to get a hold of 2036 Olympics, we should take some smart lessons from this. First, India already has a unique advantage that China does not. We have the most diverse culture, a billion voices, and the energy of the largest democracy. And that's exactly what we need to show to the world. Imagine an opening ceremony where Kathak meets Bharatnatyam, where A.R. Rahman sings Vande Mataram with the audience joining in. That's a cultural spectacle that the world will watch in awe. Second, like China, we could also use the Olympics to boost our infrastructure projects. Think about how Mumbai or Ahmedabad could benefit from new metro lines or better roadways that would serve the cities long after the games. And here's an important fact. India knows how to handle big global scale events. Look at the G20 for example. New Delhi was transformed with better roadways, airports, and the Bharat Mandapam. It was lit. The Kumbh Mela. Crores of people gathered for a holy dip, but everything ran like a well-oiled machine. Now picture this for the Olympics. We have the potential. Just a little confidence and we can really pull it off. But most importantly, the 2036 Olympics could mark India's arrival on the global stage just like it did for China in 2008. Because better late than never. Now you might be wondering that I've been talking about the Olympics for so long. How does it actually impact the sports in India? Prime Minister Modi has shown interest again and again to bring the Olympics home. Because this will be a perfect opportunity for the athletes in India to take sports to a next level. And these are not just some empty words. Here's something really cool. An analysis by Money Control says that the host country sees a 137% medal boost as compared to the last 4 Olympics. And even in the next games, their tally remains 90% higher. When South Korea hosted the 1988 games, they witnessed their gold medal count jump from an average of 2 in the previous 4 Olympics to 12 in 1988. In the future, they have consistently performed well to snatch golds. Now, the case of India. Right now, most of our Olympic successes come from an individual brilliance, not from a well-established system. But if we host the games, it would force the government and the private sector to invest heavily in sports training, infrastructure, and grassroots development. This means that the future generations of athletes would have better access to sports training, sports science, and a competition exposure. And the result? A consistent rise in Olympic performances. Hosting the Olympics can ignite a sports culture in India. A country's Olympic success depends upon how the young people take up sports seriously. Australia's Sydney 2000 Olympics led to a huge national focus on sports, and that is why Australia has remained a strong contender ever since. If India hosts the 2036 Olympics, it could lead to a sporting revolution, leading to a better performance, more medals, and a sporting culture that extends beyond cricket. This could be finally India's defining moment, boosting infrastructure, reshaping its global image, and starting a sports revolution. With smart planning, strong investments, and a lasting vision, India could finally turn this dream into a reality. The time is now to show the world that India is now ready for the Olympic stage. This is Mayan. See you in the next one.